Decoded.
Welcome to Book Decoded. Today, we're diving into Plastisphere, the ecosystem of plastics. And honestly, it puts a totally new spin on something we see everywhere.
It really does.
We're exploring this, well, kind of mind-bending idea. What if all that plastic pollution isn't just junk, but actually a thriving habitat for new life?
Exactly.
So our mission today is to unpack the most surprising, the most important stuff from the book just for you.
It's a fascinating area. The term plastisphere itself, it was only coined back in 2013.
Right.
And it describes this, well, novel ecological niche, basically a whole microbial community living on plastic debris, quite distinct from the surrounding water or soil. A new ecosystem, effectively.
And central to this new world are microplastics, right?
Yeah.
MPs. The book gets into this. We're talking tiny, tiny pieces.
Yeah, generally defined as between 1 micrometer and 5 millimeter.
And they come from, well, two main places. Primary ones, like microbeads, already small.
Like an old cosmetic.
And then secondary ones, which break down from larger plastic items. You see them as filaments, fragments, foams, all sorts. So how widespread is this stuff?
Oh, it's global, no question. These MPs, they don't just sit there. They cycle through water, through soil, even through the atmosphere. They get embedded everywhere.
And in the oceans, it gets even more, well, complicated. The book calls them a Trojan horse.
That's a good way to put it.
They can carry pathogenic bacteria and cause toxic effects in, say, mussels or fish.
Absolutely. Mussels, rainbow trout. They've shown these effects. It's a new pathway for contaminants and pathogens.
But it's not just the oceans, is it? I was surprised by this part.
Not at all. What's really striking and maybe counterintuitive is that terrestrial ecosystem soils are estimated to hold more microplastics than the oceans. They're like a major sink or pool for them.
More? Wow. So how does that happen?
A lot comes from agriculture, sewage sludge used as fertilizer, plastic mulching, and it means they can end up in our food. They've found MPs in things like carrots and apples.
Right. Makes you look at your lunch a bit differently. And then there's the air.
Yeah, the atmospheric dimension is important too. They get carried by wind, they're found in clouds, even in really remote places like the Arctic. They really do travel.
So it's not just inert plastic floating around. This microplastisphere is alive.
Very much so. It's a highly active microbial community. And the plastic itself isn't inert either. The book mentions over 13,000 chemicals associated with plastics.
13,000?
Yeah. And over 3,200 of those are flagged as potentially concerning. Additives, things added during manufacturing, they can leach out over time.
Okay, so what's the bottom line here? The so what of all this chemical activity?
Well, these biofilms, these communities living on the plastic, they can actually concentrate pollutants from the environment. Things like PCBs, heavy metals.
So the plastic becomes more toxic than the water around it.
Often, yes. Significantly more. They act like little toxic sponges. And this has huge implications. We're finding MPs in human blood now, even in the placenta. They can act as vectors, carrying harmful microbes like Vibrio species. Some cause cholera, for instance. Even viruses like SARS-CoV-2 have been detected on plastic surfaces.
Okay, that's worrying.
And maybe most critically, they can pick up and transfer antimicrobial resistance genes, ARGs.
Making infections harder to treat.
Exactly. It's a serious public health concern that we're really just starting to grapple with.
Wow. Okay, so beyond the microbes and the chemicals, there's another angle too, right? Something about invasive species.
That's right. Plastic debris essentially acts as a raft. It provides a whole new way for species to disperse, crossing oceans, getting past natural barriers they couldn't before.
Like little floating habitats.
Precisely. These plastisphere nomads, as some call them, can hitch a ride, settle on the plastic, and then potentially establish themselves in entirely new regions. It could really accelerate the spread of invasive species.
Okay, this sounds pretty overwhelming. The scale of it, the different impacts. Is there anything we can actually do? Is there any good news in the book?
Yes, absolutely. There is hope and a lot of innovation happening. Research into bioremediation is really exciting.
Bioremediation, using biology to fix it.
Yeah. Like the discovery of that bacterium, Idenalis achiensis, it can actually break down peat plastic stuff in drink bottles.
It eats plastic.
Essentially, yes. It has enzymes that degrade it. And there's a whole field now, plasticomics, looking at the genes and proteins involved. People are engineering plastic-degrading microbiospheres, PDMs. basically designing microbial communities to be much more efficient at breaking down plastics.
So engineered solution.
Right. And even in areas like aquaculture, there are new systems being developed, recirculating systems, integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, aquaponics.
Okay.
These systems can actually help filter out and potentially even biodegrade microplastics in the water used to raise fish, which helps improve food safety.
So wrapping this up then, the plastisphere is this incredibly complex story. It's a microscopic ecosystem, yes, but it has these huge global consequences, spreading pollution, pathogens, invasive species, but also maybe holding some keys to solutions.
Exactly. And perhaps the final thought to leave people with is this. If we start seeing plastic not just as inert trash, but as these dynamic, living habitats that directly affect our health and ecosystems, well, how might that change our everyday choices, our consumption, our disposal? Thinking of it not just as waste, but as these evolving mini-worlds, something to think about.